call to order. It is 7:01. And I don't see any public participants, so we will pass through the public participation piece. I would ask you, Kevin and John, to introduce yourselves a tiny little bit, but I'd kind of prefer to wait on that until we have a few more of our members, so so you don't have to do it twice. Oh, here we've got.
Okay, we'll wait.
Hey, Lily.
Hi.
Well, now we're 6. But Robin, would that matter whether or not they? Now we're rolling. Okay.
No, well, we can do whatever you choose. I would not suggest motion for meeting minutes because while John and Kevin are allowed to vote on
They weren't
minutes,
at the last meeting.
past has shown that people don't tend to vote if they don't intend, but that does not keep them from choosing to vote if they want to. But so
Right. Okay. Well, then we've got Christina and Lily now. But I would, and Nathaniel. Hi, Nathaniel. Good to see you. Let's skip the meeting minutes for now, then come back to it a little later in the meeting then perhaps. So now that we've got a few more folks, let's welcome our new members. John, do you want to start off by, well, maybe we'll all introduce ourselves, I suppose. But John and Kevin especially would love to hear from you and welcome you.
You asked me to speak. I'm sorry.
Sure, John. Yeah, would you introduce yourself and tell us just a bit about you?
Hey, I'm a new member of the town council, and I'm very interested in this. And I have a history professionally of dealing with environmental issues that I'm kind of proud of, but it's old news. And a lot of things that I've worked on, just weren't at the top and leading edge of technology at the time. So I'm interested in what you folks are doing, what you're advocating for. Glad to be listening to your viewpoints and help in any way I can.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. And Kevin, how about you?
Yeah, my name's Kevin Fontanella. I've been on the school committee. This will be my 3rd year. I'm a high school history teacher at Saugus High School. And I have no real experience with environmental issues, unlike John, but yeah, I know we're building a new high school, and I know there's a lot of environmental, things that are there. We're in a brand new high school in Saugus, and I know that, the entire cooling heating system, it's definitely state of the art. And yeah, so anyway, I'm definitely pretty excited to learn what this committee is all about.
Wonderful. Well, warm welcome to you both. And let's just go around for the existing members also and just say who we are and sort of what stuff we've been working on lately, I suppose. So I'll start. I'm Tiana. I'm chair. This is my first meeting as chair. So please holler if I'm doing anything wrong. Always open to feedback. I've been on the ESC, I guess this is my 3rd year. And I've been primarily engaged in the community engagement work, some waste reduction in the schools, and the green business program. I've been in Wakefield about 5 years. And let's do popcorn style. So I guess I'll popcorn to Melissa.
Hello, I'm Melissa Houston. I've been on the committee for 3 years. The last 2 years I've been the chair. And I've been working on waste reduction initiatives around town and in the schools, as well as climate change planning and doing our first greenhouse gas emissions inventory for Wakefield, and been working on trying to create a climate change plan for the town, and also municipal decarbonization roadmaps.
You popcorning? Or I'll call on people.
Oh,
Robin. All good. I'll MC.
I wouldn't know what that meant to popcorn. My name is Robin Greenberg. I guess I wouldn't say the word founding because I didn't found it, but I've been on the committee since its inception 5 years ago. And my background is I'm an architect, currently doing K-12 schools. And I have a training in LEADS, the environmental leadership and environmental. Oh, I shouldn't say that I'm doing the acronym. I'm totally blank. But anyways, about focused on mostly building construction and on efficiencies and so forth. While being on the committee, I've tried to engage as much as I can on some of the building projects in town, but not as any formal, just as a public watcher. And I am currently on the education subcommittee and open spaces. I was the committee's representative on the MBTA working group.
And Robin is our clerk and takes fantastic minutes. We appreciate her very much for that. Lily.
Hello, I'm Lily Ginther. Nice to meet you. I've been on the ESC for, gosh, I think about a year, maybe like 13 months or so. And I'm currently on the waste reduction subcommittee and the green spaces subcommittee. I've been helping out a little bit with some of the food rescue in the schools. And I've been in Wakefield for 7.5 years now. So yeah, nice to meet you both, and I look forward to working with you.
How about Christina?
Hi, everyone. I'm Christina Olberry. I am also relatively new to this committee, so I've been here about a year, same as Lily. I'm part of the waste reduction subcommittee, so we've been doing school composting and food rescue, and I'm also part of the green business subcommittee. I'm a small business owner here in Wakefield, so I like being part of that, but just being part of this group has been great. I've noticed just a lot of just being part of a lot of changes as a group effort versus individually has been really really fulfilling. So I think hopefully it'll be the same for you guys, but it's been a great group to be a part of.
Thanks. Stefan?
Hi, Stefan Spears. I've been with the committee a year and a couple months. Right now, I'm currently chairing the Green Spaces Committee, and I participated, though my contribution's not nearly so great as Melissa's on the carbon action planning. But and generally, I just try to volunteer when I can for the things that we're working on. So.
Thanks. And Nathaniel, our only student tonight so far.
Hi, I'm Nathaniel Chines. I've been here, I think it's around September. I am the youth counselor liaison to the ESC, and I work on communications and outreach in the schools and waste reduction mostly.
Wonderful. Well, welcome everyone. And we'll have other new folks or other additional folks introduce themselves if they join us down the road. Now I think we would have quorum to deal with the minutes. So let's hop back to that. And do we have a motion for approving the minutes from May, the edited minutes from May that Robin sent out recently?
I motion for approval of the edited meeting minutes.
Second.
All right. Melissa?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
John?
I abstain.
Kevin?
I abstain.
Lily?
Yes.
Christina?
Yes.
Stefan?
Yes.
And I'm a yes. So minutes pass. Thank you, folks. So now we'll hop into committee report outs. So I think first up is waste reduction. Lily.
Sure. So a couple of things we're working on. One, we'll have a table at the upcoming recycling event on June 29th at the high school. I believe it is 9 to 11. I think Melissa, you and I are taking that one, I believe. So as part of that, we are doing the first phase of our sports equipment swap. We've been putting out some information about the opportunity for people to drop off some sports equipment that their kids may have grown out of, or they're just not using anymore, that's in reasonably good shape. And then the second half of that will be kind of like the pickup and swap section of the event on the August 3rd, I believe, at the farmers market. So we're hoping to get a good turnout, a good amount of equipment brought in on the 29th, and you can still bring equipment in on the 3rd as well, but you can also take. So hopefully you've seen some of those comms go out. Feel free to share anything you've seen. I also wanted to note that I think we're trying to find some boxes for the 29th. So if anyone happens to have any big boxes that they are no longer using, let us know, and I'm happy to come by and pick something up from one of your homes, so we can collect the items.
Yeah, Lily, I have some boxes. I also have the pet food recycling box and our bag of, the tablecloth and little posters and
Okay.
things like that. So let's coordinate a time for you to pop by and grab those things for me.
Perfect.
Cool.
So that's the big thing that's coming up. The other thing we've kind of been talking about is possibly trying to organize a repair cafe. I know that's something they've done in Melrose, and it's an interesting thing where folks can bring in broken items and get them fixed versus throwing them out and having to replace them. We're put it on the back burner a little bit until we get the recycling event and the sports swap kind of sorted out, but that's something we've been chatting about and might bring up again in our next meeting.
On the recycling day, also I noticed the big posters in the kiosks, the official town, behind glass kiosks. So just noticed that today.
Excellent. Yeah, thank you for your help in getting the word out about that.
No problem.
Yeah, I sent Jen the sports flyer, so hopefully we can get that in the kiosks.
Yeah.
If not now, then later. And
I think they're on like a 2-week cadence, so I wouldn't be surprised if it gets in the one that's in 2, like whichever next postering.
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to get it in before the collection, but it's fine. I'll just hang up the flyers around town. We're also collecting adult sports equipment, not just kids. So
true.
Wanted to say that. And yeah, we're also trying to talk with some of the school officials on our waste programs, kind of wrapping up the year. We had a meeting yesterday. Tiana was there as well with the principal from Woodville, talking about how to improve the food rescue and composting for the coming year. Maybe get some senior volunteers there to help out in the lunchroom, since they could use some more help. And I'm trying to talk to the Dustin and Tim from schools, food services and facilities to discuss the compostable trays as well as composting in the kitchen, and also adding more barrels at Woodville for composting, and maybe adding other schools in the coming year.
Great. I think that about covers it.
Awesome. Wonderful.
Thank you.
Next up is community engagement. So that's the one I chair. So I'll report out. We had a table at Festival by the Lake last Saturday. Thank you for everyone who took a shift at that table. That was excellent. And I think we had some good conversations. There was definitely some folks curious about compost. So having the compost bins by our table was nice. We got to have some compost conversations. As always, there are some people who are surprised to learn about black plastic not being recyclable. And we also spread the word about the upcoming Recycling and Sustainability Day and sports equipment swap. Some folks are really excited about the sports equipment swap. So I think that seems to be really striking a chord in town. And I think you picked a good time of year for it. So Definitely enthusiasm about that. Also during that event, we began the process of collecting some videos, video testimonials from folks in town about the sustainable things that they do. So thank you to Nathaniel for recording some of those little video snippets. So we got a couple of e-bike riders. We got someone talking about their EV. Yeah, so we captured a few of those. We'll continue to try to capture those at other events and opportunities. So if you know people, including any of you, but I think also ideally folks who aren't, official ESC members, who are doing, good sustainable things in their homes, in their lives, in their, whatever they're doing, we'd love to do a little 1-minute video on them. And then we're going to figure out a way to package those up. One reflection from the festival by the lake that some folks had noticed, it was that the water truck, the quench buggy, was not there, which was disappointing because the sale of single-use water bottles creates a lot of waste at an event of that size. I did reach out to Leo, who organized or was on one of the organizers of the event, who we'd been in contact with, and his perspective seemed to be that while they were aware of the quench buggy existing, that they really thought that was something that the town or the ESC ought to be providing. So I think they were thinking that we would have stepped up to offer it. And I know that it's now not a free thing necessarily. So it's just something we should, and Anne's not here to have further DPW related conversations about it, but something to think about in the future when we know there are big events, if there's a way that we can encourage it to be there for the participants.
Yeah, I know that we had talked in the past about trying to work with them about greening the event as much as possible. We had talked about putting more compost barrels and other things. So maybe next year we can kind of coordinate on all those things a little bit better.
I think we would need to start sooner. Yeah. I think we thought of those things a little late in the game for this season. Yeah, I think that's right. Steph,
did that organizer reach out to somebody about the water truck, or just?
I reached out after the fact to ask, notice the quench buggy wasn't there. Were you aware that that was available? So that was what prompted that conversation, but I don't know if there had been any prior communication. It sounded like it had been at a prior year, some year in the past few, they had gotten the water truck. That would have obviously been before Wakefield had its own Wakefield water truck. It would have been the MWRA.
I was just curious as to how not free it was. It sounds like perhaps the cost was a instigating factor to it not being there. And if it's not free, what is it actually like? Is it like, oh, it was $100 and we could have easily figured out how to do that, versus it's like 1,000 to 10,000 or some crazy $1 million for the truck to show up,
Yeah.
So what's the range there? Do you know?
I'm not certain. I think it was
200.
Oh, I thought it was 300.
I think Julie had said 350 when we were talking.
Okay.
Somewhere in that.
So something achievable. If we were aware, we probably could have made sure to organize some sort of funding to make sure it happened or something. Yeah. Okay.
And I think the cost was for to have DPW set it up and to have, those kinds of resources. That's what they had said.
Yeah. So something to explore for future years, and just to raise awareness generally. There are a lot of events that happen, especially on the common this time of year, lots of big things. I know the water truck was at maybe it was the middle school field day, some of the school field day recently. So when there are things like that going on, if we can help to make that known that can be a resource, and reduce the single-use plastic, that's probably a good thing.
I have to say my favorite part of the afternoon was a little boy that was nowhere near a table, out of the blue, just separated from his parents, walked up, took his half a sandwich and went in the compost and turned around. Like he knew exactly what it was for. His parents kind of were like, oh, okay. In terms of like him like getting rid of his food in the right bucket. But like it kind of just showed that this kids are learning in school and it's like second nature to them. It was only in adults I had to correct and went into the bucket because they assumed a paper plate was a compostable and it was plastic filmed. So we didn't get a lot of waste, but those that we did were the right kind of waste, you know. And I think our need to have the barrel near a person is required in order to add to the making sure things don't go in that are not okay. But a number of conversations about stickers too, because the tables in our area gave out apples, and many apples come with fruit stickers, and to remind them that if they didn't eat the whole apple, make sure the sticker wasn't still on it.
Yeah, absolutely. Lily already talked about the Recycling and Sustainability Day, so we've been doing some promotion on that. We also have our other upcoming event is the Bees educational event at the library, Bees at the BB, on Wednesday the 26th in the evening. It is already, and like 2 weeks ago was at capacity. I would say sold out, but the tickets are free. Fully registered, and they've got an active wait list. So everyone is really excited about Bees. So that's awesome. It'll be recorded by WCAT, so we'll have the video to share out afterwards, and we'll try to collect any names from the wait list that don't get in. And I imagine some folks won't show up, but we'll see. But we'll send it around when the video's done. But that should be really fun and interesting.
Sounds like there's a lot of buzz.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for that. And we've got the farmers market. We'll have a table at the farmers market in September. We'll put out a call for staffing of that table a little closer to then. That's a little too far away to get on folks' calendars probably. And then it occurred to me at the festival when we were tabling, folks are signing up on the sign up page for our email list and for volunteering for things. And I thought I'd just put a bug in everyone's ear that if your committee is doing or subcommittee is doing stuff that you could use extra hands on, we have a whole list of folks who have at some point or another in the past said that they'd be interested in volunteering. So let me know, and we can always very easily send an email out to that ESC list to say this particular opportunity, contact so-and-so. So think of needs that you have for extra hands.
Yeah, I would say we may need some help at the sports equipment swap. If people want to volunteer for that.
Yeah, for sure. Send me some details and I can send it out to the list. That'd be great.
You have the flyer.
Sorry. Oh, well, just like what you're looking for, like how you would want to particularly ask for help.
Okay.
Robin, anything else?
I don't know. I mean, Tiana still does a fantastic job posting a wide variety of topics on Facebook, which is great. So
yes, like our page, follow stuff, reshare, especially for the events. Resharing is always super helpful. Cool. Next is climate action plan.
So I think we got a consultant assigned for the decarbonization roadmap for the town, and just trying to follow up with Anne on when the kickoff meeting is with those consultants to start that work after getting that technical assistance grant awarded to us from DOER. And at our last meeting, we had talked about how we were going to frame the climate plan. Basically, we're going to frame it around like what the town will do instead of what individuals can do, because sometimes it gets confusing. So, looking at other town plans, we noticed that's kind of how others have framed their plan. So, we're trying to make it as actionable as possible. And one thing we had also discussed was possibly working with the Green Business Subcommittee on you know, some information about the pilot program, something we could, along those lines, that we may be able to add to our climate action plan. And we talked about how we can measure the actions and tie them back to our greenhouse gas inventory. And we reviewed some of the other town plans and kind of saw that there was a lot of similar themes going on in all the plans. So our next meeting is actually next week. We're going to continue to review other plans and talk about kind of how we want to set up Wakefield's plan.
Green spaces.
So not a lot of news to report, but we met, discussed some of our findings from the in between the previous meeting. So conversation with email back and forth with Dan McGrath, the counselor Mayreen, I'm not sure the last name, is actually interested in expanding the gardening program for the town. They actually are at beyond capacity. And they're looking at what other alternate areas they could go into. That being said, there's actually, we did have some public participation on the call. There was some discussion. There was actually another space in the Greenwood district that I guess was allocated, but never formally turned into a park. I have to go look at my notes specifically to look at the location. So there is at least possibly a location, though it may be politicized. I'm not entirely sure. And then Trail Stewards Program. In this case, all we really did previously was confirm the steward program is in fact active. There are members, but what we're going to be doing is actively seeking, like offering assistance to see whether or not they have sufficient membership, that whether or not they have any open needs, things of that nature. And beyond that, all we're trying to do at this point is continue to formalize, like, you know, our understanding of the green spaces between the recreation department and conservation committee, to make sure that we're not either stepping on toes or overlapping or doing work that isn't already being done, and then reaching out and helping in those spaces when we can.
Okay, if you want to put out a call for more trail steward participants, that's another good one to send out to the ESC email list. So feel free to send that over to me and I can send it up. Oh, and then green business, Christina.
Yep. So for the Green Business Subcommittee, we are currently developing a pilot program for Wakefield businesses to help them with green initiatives. So we're creating sort of a multi-prong approach, and we're focusing on one phase at a time. So we've sort of identified these phases, everything from green purchasing, waste reduction, effective recycling. A lot of businesses have bulk cardboard and things like that sort of go in the trash, unfortunately, and then looking at energy efficiency as well. So the idea is to kind of have a structured approach and a program so that these businesses can attain, you know, green business certification, you know, and so that once they have the certification, they can use this to market and residents can support these businesses. And we will be working closely with the businesses. We're sort of developing that process currently in our meetings, but trying to really look at how we can help businesses in Wakefield to make more sustainable choices so that overall as a town, we're kind of reducing our footprint. So it's in the works, beginning stages, but that is our goal and that's our focus of the Green Business Subcommittee.
Thank you. And thank you for doing the, like, this is what we're focused on. I realize we didn't all necessarily do that since we have new members. Always good to say what all we're charged with, not just what we're actively doing this particular month. And Kevin and John, feel free to jump in with questions if there's stuff that is not clearly explained. So our next section typically is report outs from our liaisons and affiliated members. So first on the list would be school committee. Kevin, I don't know if you have anything to share from the school committee for us.
Am I supposed to share things that connect to the issues you're talking about, or just generic, like
And
what we talked
anything,
about the last meeting?
anything sustainability related.
Cool. All right.
Yeah,
Makes
we
sense.
don't
I
need,
assume you
you
don't
don't
want to
need to
hear
know
about.
everything school related, but anything that,
Yeah.
whether
Right.
it's, anything overlapping.
Yeah. So I think that the big issue is because now we have free school lunch and breakfast given to all students in Massachusetts. I imagine that there's just much higher volume of food being served. I know we've talked with Dustin about serious logistical challenges in that area, both with labor, but also just the whole process. So I imagine that that's creating some waste issues that definitely deals with sustainability. So I know that in the past few years it definitely has come up, like composting programs like in different schools. I guess one question I would have is, you mentioned the Woodville and like a program that's at the Woodville. Is something like that happening in all the schools, or
Yeah,
is it
so
kind of?
we have composting food rescue in all the elementary schools except Dilbear is just doing food rescue. So yeah, that was Walton and Greenwood started a year ago. We just started Woodville this past beginning of this year. And we're trying to add composting to Dilbear soon. Just trying to talk to Tim O'Brien on what our budgeting is for adding additional composting at other schools.
And just in case Kevin or John, if you hadn't heard about the food rescue part. Oh, and there's a great 3-minute video that WCAT did about this last spring from our program. But the food rescue program is if there's food that the student receives but doesn't open. So if they don't open their milk or their string cheese or don't bite into the apple, they can put it in a cooler and it all goes into the fridge, and those get picked up a couple times a week by volunteers and brought to some food shelters, food banks, after school programs, including the Boys and Girls Club in Wakefield. So they get distributed to places where they'll get eaten. So that's been running in all 4 of the elementary schools as of late. And you're right, there's certainly a lot of volume of food going on in the cafeterias. I don't have the stats off the top of my head. I think there are 1,400 food items rescued just from the Woodville since January. So, and like a quarter of that was milks. But, if we get a good deal and that they go to someone who will eat them is certainly better than them going in the trash.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's all I got.
All right. Great. Next would be student liaisons and youth council. Nathaniel, do you have anything to share with us today?
I do, yes. So recently me and the faculty advisor for the Galvin Green team had a meeting with Tim O'Brien, and he said that there is a recycling plan already in place that they're hoping to start up in September at the Galvin, and that they're working on composting, hopefully for the next school year. But they said that the green team, they want to really focus on education and outreach for students at Galvin so that they know what to compost and what to recycle. So yeah, that's the meeting debrief.
So Nathaniel, he said that he's working on these things. Tim is?
Yeah, he said that he's trying to get a plan in place for composting, and that the recycling plan is already sort of off the ground, I guess, and is scheduled to start in September.
Okay. Since you're leaving the high school or leaving to go to high school, is there somebody else that's gonna kind of take the reins there for Green Team?
Yes. Yeah.
Who's that?
What'd you say?
Who is doing that?
Emmanuel Carpenter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Well, that's certainly exciting that both recycling and compost might be coming to the Galvin at whatever point it's relevant. I'm sure there's a bunch of us who would be happy to go in and help with that education, you know, including being there at lunch. So that's what we've done at the elementary schools as we've rolled out compost, is we'll have volunteers from this group show up at lunch for, you know, the first week or two, just to help the students know which bin to put things in and to help with that education. So let's, I guess, be ready to do that.
Yeah. And I can also tell Emmanuel that I can tell him about, you know, the that there might be, you know, people at lunches that he, or you know, ESC members or volunteers that can help out at lunches that he can get in contact with, and yeah, help out with all the yeah, really the outreach and education stuff.
Yeah,
might make
Nathaniel,
sense for
if
you
you
to.
want to give him my email, feel free.
All right, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Nathaniel. And Nathaniel, how much longer are you our youth council person?
I reapplied. So I might have another term, but I think my official term ends in, I think, sometime in June.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, in case this is your last meeting with us, thank you so much for all of your great participation and pushing things forward at the middle school.
Thank you.
Hopefully
Glad to
you'll get a
help.
new term and you'll be back with us in September, but
Hopefully.
you've been a real
Yeah.
asset to the team. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Glad to
Great
help.
job. Great job, Nathaniel. Yeah.
Thank you.
And now you'll have a whole new school to get greening.
I will. Tim O'Brien did say that the high school does need some help with, you know, recycling and composting and education. So once I get there, I'll do some assessments and figure out where I can help.
Awesome. Next would be DPW, but I don't see Anne, so we'll skip that one unless anyone has a report from the DPW.
Just for record, I want to thank them for the green compost bins. You know, they provided them for us and collected them. So
for the festival. Yes, that was super awesome. That was great to have. Well, they also provided the tables and chairs and tent for us as well, so that we didn't have to haul those ourselves. So that was DPW was our Saturday heroes.
I also picked up my rain barrel from them, so I did that. So I went through, and Anne was there, and it was a seamless little operation they had. So they did a good job with that. There were a lot of people who came and picked up their first rain barrel, so it was nice.
Awesome, good. Yeah, that program has been a big success the last few years, so it's great.
Yes, good.
Cool. All right. Next up would be Town Council. John, do you have anything you can share with us?
No, except that my wife is a weekly composter. I call her the recycling queen because she works hard at that. But no, I'm enjoying this conversation, learning what you folks are doing. I appreciate it.
Great. Well, we're always happy for updates from the Town Council if there are conversations going on that relate to sustainability initiatives. Always happy to hear that from you.
Thank you.
And then next would be Wakefield Municipal Gas and Light, but I don't see our rep here from that either. So we will move along.
Oh, I was just going to say, I don't know the data, but the dashboard on the news community solar is available. So if folks are interested in learning its output, they've released that data.
Yes,
so,
I posted about it from our Facebook today or yesterday. I think it was something like the amount of emissions as that would be saved from taking 40,000 miles of a sedan driving around, give or take. So yeah, very exciting that that program is up and running. Is there anyone participating in the community solar here? Ah, good. You probably haven't seen it show up on your bill yet though, right?
We had, because there was a little bit of a bump in the billing on setting up. So we did, which is
Cool.
fine. We have figured it all out, but yes.
Cool.
No, so
Exciting.
if we're paying it, it's going.
It's up and running. That's awesome. I mean, I knew it was making power. I just wasn't sure if like the, it was connecting through to everyone's, bills and outputs and stuff. Sun's been shining a lot the last month. All right. I think next would be scheduling our next meeting, which would be Thursday, July 11th. Is that any objections to July 11th for our next meeting? Okay, cool. That's that then. Of a matter not anticipated, couple of years ago, 2 years ago, I think, we had a summer social. We all like met up in the Veterans Field Park area and had a little picnic dinner. We're thinking that might be fun to do again, not an official meeting, just to get together. Is that something that folks would be interested in doing sometime this summer? I see slightly enthusiastic nods. Okay, cool. Is there anyone who's enthusiastic enough to want to take on organizing it, picking a date, and setting that up?
Is it families involved as well, or just individuals?
I think that is up for us to decide. I think last time it was just individuals, but we could do
Just
it.
wondering.
Families if that sounds fun to us.
I think we kept it small because we're just coming out of COVID lockdown. So it was a chance to actually see people in person. So I think that's why we limited to just ourselves. But I'm happy to meet all of your families.
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. Does anyone want to organize?
I can help organize. Nobody else is volunteering.
I'll have to ask
I
my
can
wife.
help us.
All right,
I'll-
cool. Well, if someone wants to send out a doodle for us to pick a date, that's probably the first step. Melissa, do you want to doodle?
Sure.
Awesome. Wonderful. Thank you. And then the other thing that I just wanted to ask is so our budget year time, the fiscal year as far as our committee's budget goes ends at the end of the month. So I just wanted to check if anyone had any additional things they were trying to buy with our remaining bit of budget for any events or things like that you have coming up. I think we do have a little bit left in the budget. So just wanted to check with folks on that. You can also let me know offline if you think of something.
Once the budget rolls, what is the budget annually?
I believe our budget this coming year is 2,000.
2,000. Okay.
It was 1,000 this year, which went primarily to our tablecloth, some other materials for events.
Cooler for Woodville.
The refrigerator for Woodville. The cooler was purchased by the PTO.
Oh, sorry.
The refrigerator that lives at Woodville for food rescue.
Refrigerator.
Yeah. So next year we have twice as much to spend, so we'll get to do twice as big of whatever it is that we're going to do.
Did you give away those straws at the festival?
We gave away a few, but we didn't have quite the rush of people coming by to record videos. So I also think we forgot to give one to Jonathan. So Nathaniel, I'll find you and give you a straw to bring home. But yeah, so we have a few of those left, and we should absolutely they're in the bag with the tablecloth and all the signage and stuff. So bring it to the Sustainability and Recycling Day. If folks record it, they get a prize collapsible portable straw for all of their waste reduced drinking needs.
And where are those recordings going?
at the moment they're in Google Drive. We are going to see how they came out. It was a little windy that day, and see what we might need to do to get them in good shape. And then Nathaniel and Robin and I were going to figure out sort of either whether we post them just sort of as is, or string them together in some way, or take stills and text to do a static post. Like, we're going to publicize them some places.
Like on Facebook.
We also talked about sharing them with WCAT for the fluff time that they seek, as slides. So, if it could just be a 15-second, between things, to provide it that way as well. We talked about.
Yeah. And I mentioned it to WCAT, and they were excited that we were doing this. So they are willing to help us with stitching it together or edits or something if that's necessary. Or if it turns out that we didn't record as well as they need us to have done, maybe they'll set up a time to do some recordings on our behalf. So, but they liked the idea. So yeah, so send me notes if you have other budget items before the end of June. I don't know Melissa, do you know, or anyone else, like, if we don't spend it, that money just evaporates, right? It doesn't roll into the new year.
No.
Okay, sounds good.
Use it or lose it.
Cool. We'll buy a few snacks at least for the bees event at the end of the month. Do we need anything else for the sustainability day?
Oh, I was going to ask about the honey for the bees.
Our bee expert is bringing honey sticks to give a honey stick to everybody.
Don't the bees bring their own? It's not, no.
Not accessibly.
Sorry.
If you want to reach in there, I don't recommend it. So yeah, she's going to bring a honey stick for everyone. But we could buy a couple of jars of honey as a door prize to sort of raffle off.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe we could do some sort of like come up with some questions to ask the audience, and maybe if they get it right, they can get a jar of honey or something like that.
Yeah. We can do that. And did we need to buy anything else for the sustainability and recycling day? Any other like materials or?
We already bought that battery box with the ESC budget, which I'll be bringing. So.
Do we need a second one, or is it like, how big is that?
It's pretty big.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna fill it. So it'll probably end up at town hall for further collecting.
Sounds good. Right. They're also collecting eyeglasses and something else.
Cell phones.
That's right. Cool. Okay. Any other matters not anticipated?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Right. Melissa?
Yes.
Robin?
Yes.
John?
Yes, and thank you. Pleasure meeting all of you.
Likewise. Thank you, John. Lily?
Yes.
Christina?
Yes.
Stefan?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes. And nice meeting you.
Thank you, Kevin. I'm a yes, so we are adjourned. Thank you all very much, and we'll see you in July.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
night.